Hello everyone, Adam here, and I loved Luigi's Mansion 3. The charming atmosphere, strong ghost hunting gameplay, and diverse collection of bosses had me smiling throughout the 8-hour adventure. The multiplayer was solid and extended the longevity of the game. However, the game's controls and the recycled plot were a bit annoying, but it didn't subtract from the joy I had when playing this wonderful game. Luigi's Mansion 3 has a bare-bones plot that recycled much of the story from Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. Luigi, Mario, and Peach, along with two Toads, have been invited to the Hotel Last Resort by Hellen Gravely. At first, everything is bright and alluring until the veil is opened and the hotel's true nature is revealed. King Boo has escaped from his painted prison thanks to Gravely, is now seeking revenge against Luigi. Trapping everyone into paintings, Luigi escapes and must rescue his family and friends from King Boo. This won't be easy. Hellen has taken the elevator's buttons, and you must retrieve them from the various bosses throughout the hotel, with each button bringing Luigi closer to saving his brother and friends. While the story itself is poor, the presentation of the story progression is outstanding. Animations and charming visuals help overshadow the bare narrative. Since all the characters lack actual voices, with the exception of a few scenes and voice lines, much of how they're feeling are told through actions. Because of this, the animations are extremely well done, and you can easily tell what each character is feeling based on how they are acting. And yes, Luigi's Mansion 3 still uses a Nintendo device to communicate with Luigi with his partner, Gadd. This time it's a virtual boy, if you can find that hard to believe, and I found it completely hilarious. The developers even went as far to mimic the infamous red and black interface that the system was known for. Much of Luigi Mansion 3's mechanics are based on the first two games, with some new additions. You still have access to Luigi's iconic Poltergust vacuum flashlight, and you also get access to the UV light known as the Strata bulb from Dark Moon, allowing Luigi to locate hidden objects throughout the hotel. Using his flashlight, Luigi exposes the weak points in the ghost he'll encounter and then suck them up with the Poltergust. Luigi can now use a slam takedown to quickly drain the ghost's health and as a weapon to damage surrounding ghosts. Speaking of ghosts, the Last Resort has plenty of ghosts who want Luigi gone, and within the 17 floors of the hotel, there's a unique ghost encounter for almost all of them. While you'll face the same types of ordinary ghosts, the developers have included many different variants, with most themed after the floor that you are on. The floors themselves have unique themes linked to them. The opening levels feature a standard hotel, but eventually open up to more creative environments. Each floor felt like its own playground with hidden treasures throughout. And with the exception of the open tutorial levels, each one ended with a boss fight that required a unique strategy to take down. The floors do range in size and density. Some levels offered a lot more room to explore, while others included less than a handful of rooms, sometimes just even two. This isn't a bad thing, as some of these floors are condensed with more content within arm's reach. I actually like this more condensed floor look because it gave more room to explore and find all the hidden details. The floors are separated between combat and puzzle solving. The combat is mostly straightforward, with you eliminating all the ghosts in a room. On certain floors, the ghosts will follow the theme of the area, such as dancing on the music floor or using firefighter equipment when in the set of a burning building. It does add to the overall charm of the game and the aesthetic feeling that you are on these various floors. The levels themselves are very well designed, with rooms often having hidden troves of treasures. You are expected not only just to explore, but to be aware of what cannot be seen. Since the camera is in a fixed location, things such as mirrors showcase what you cannot see. Like previous games, you're encouraged to see what is out of place or looks strange, as most things unlock hidden treasure. The puzzles vary, with some being simple environmental interactions or looking at the map for the hidden door to more complex problems. One in particular is in the Paranormal Studio, which requires you to take a key item from one location to the next, with each item providing access to the next key item. However, the newest character to be introduced in Luigi's Mansion 3 offers unique elements in both combat and puzzles: Gooigi. The slime version of Luigi is immortal and can slip through bars and spikes without issue. With the exception of having a fourth of Luigi's health and the inability to cross water, Gooigi is invaluable in this adventure. The developers took full advantage of Gooigi's abilities with a lot of creative puzzles and even combat challenges. Controlling one of the characters does mean that the other cannot move, but the developers have balanced this system so you never feel at a disadvantage when both characters are present. If you do want a helping hand, another player can take control of Gooigi for some cooperative action, but I did find that this made the game much easier and kind of the challenge just completely was dissolved. Despite the great boss encounters and varied environments, Luigi Mansion 3 does lack replayability. There are optional gems to collect and boos to hunt down, but the rewards for doing this were very shallow. You can collect treasure to use at Gadd's store, but these are pointless, with Gadd offering trackers for the hidden gems and boos, along with a 1-up if you do need an extra boost. You are scored based on your performance at the end of the adventure, similar to past Luigi Mansion games, but without a great reward outside from a new image, the ranking is kinda pointless. I did feel like I needed to address this. For the most part, moving Luigi and interacting with the objects is easy enough, but aiming is another story. During the top-down situations, you can aim either using the right thumbstick or by moving the left thumbstick. This can become incredibly annoying, especially during a boss encounter with Captain Fishhook. I also hated that there was no dedicated run button. Luigi can sprint, but only at specific times and after walking a certain amount of distance, which can be incredibly infuriating when you need to dodge immediately. Luigi Mansion 3's multiplayer is heavily based on Luigi Mansion Dark Moon's multiplayer, which is fine because that multiplayer is actually very good. Up to 8 players, either online or local, take on various floors within the skyscraper. Surprisingly, this is very challenging. Players will have to depend on one another to clear floors and complete objectives before the timer runs out. In addition, you cannot just burst out of traps or call on your own version of Gooigi in order to get you out of trouble. Players must break each other out of traps. There is no progression system, but players are ranked based on their performance, which is a cosmetic victory in a way. The game does try to keep everything fresh by adding in handicaps such as turning off the power and providing power-ups. However, the game's difficulty doesn't adjust based on how many players you have in a team, meaning going in without a full team will always leave you at a disadvantage. There are pre-installed voice commands since the Nintendo Switch has poor communication options, but overall the multiplayer option is fun to play and it's a decent distraction if you want to hunt ghosts with friends or with random strangers. Luigi's Mansion 3 provided an outstanding 8-hour single-player adventure. Despite having very limited replayability, the campaign was such a joy to play through. I did it 3 more times before doing this review. The multiplayer was entertaining and it was icing on this already highly decorated cake. Whether you're a fan returning for another adventure of ghost hunting or a newcomer, Luigi's Mansion 3 is another incredible exclusive for the Nintendo Switch. I just hope this franchise won't go on another extensive hiatus after this game.
Hello? Oh, got it! Yeah! Luigi! Oh yeah!